This is Opportunity Knocks, a weekly program exploring higher education and jobs right here in New Hampshire. Brought to you by Manchester Community College.
Good morning. I'm Susan Heward, president of MCC, and I am joined by my favorite co-host, Jennifer Wells of WGIR. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. You're too kind. How are you?
Well, I'm having a bit of trepidation because as I was coming in, I saw what I call the back-to-school trees.
Oh, no.
You know, those are the early maples that signal that, yep, it's coming. I can't believe that Labor Day is right around the corner. And, of course, that means that classes will be starting soon. Mm-hmm. And MCC and our sister colleges are launching lots of new programs this fall. And today we're going to focus on an industry where some serious time and money have been invested to meet the demand for highly skilled employees, and that is the field of advanced manufacturing. In fact, I was just talking with our guest a moment ago, and she has some really good news for us. You probably remember, Jen, that we talked about advanced manufacturing last fall when the community colleges and our partners launched AMPT-NH, the Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships in Education. And so here we are again, the beginning of the school year. We thought we should do an update.
Yes.
And just to remind people, manufacturing is about 19% of the state's economy. And contrary to popular opinion, that is the largest single sector in our state. We still are a manufacturing state. And these are good-paying jobs. New Hampshire Employment Security says the average wage for manufacturing jobs in March of this past year was $26 an hour, which translates to more than $54,000 a year. And yet, many of these jobs are going unfilled as employers search for the skilled workers they need. So, under the AMPT-NH program, MCC and our sister colleges are offering dozens of specialized certificates and associate degree programs to teach the skills the employers are looking for. And it's working. It's not uncommon for community college students enrolled or registered in the AMPT-NH programs to be hired even before they complete their studies. So today we're going to talk the progress to date and what's new for this year with our guest Desiree Crossley, who is responsible for getting the word out about AMPT-NH. Good morning, Desiree.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming. Could you give us a brief review of the grant and why CCS&H geared up for advanced manufacturing?
Absolutely. So as you said, AMPT-NH, the Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships in Education, is an initiative statewide that was created thanks to a $20 million grant that we received from the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Agency. With that grant, we partnered up with more than 100 business partners across the state, all in manufacturing, and we said, what do you need? And what they said is we need employees and a workforce for the future with high-tech skills to match our high-tech equipment. So with that, we now have expanded every single curriculum at every single college, and we've either opened new or we have completely overhauled teaching labs at every one of our 7 colleges. We have more than 30 advanced manufacturing programs statewide now, and they address needs in pretty much every single discipline that you could imagine. That we have a need for here in the state. So, for example, advanced composites manufacturing is a very up-and-coming discipline, and we've heard about this fantastic partnership on the Seacoast with Safran and Albany, and we are training their future employees as well as employees who can fulfill the needs of other composites manufacturers in that region. We also have advanced machine tool technologies. We've perhaps heard the term CNC, computer numerical controlled, and that is in high demand pretty much everywhere universally in the industry. We have electronics programs and electromechanics, robotics and automation, as Manchester Community College is one of the leaders in that. We have advanced welding technology, which is also in really high demand pretty much everywhere, and engineering.
So really quite a range and quite a range of preparation. we talked about a couple of things here. You've named a couple of fields. What kinds of jobs do the students are the students training for?
So the short answer is a lot and all kinds of jobs. We aim to kind of enter students into what we like to call the technician level. So, and this is, like I said, all across the spectrum of advanced manufacturing. You've got your entry level, which might be, your packaging, that kind of stuff, setting up. We are aiming to train people for kind of the next level with most of our programs. However, we do offer programs that will also prepare someone who has zero experience for those entry-level jobs. And those jobs are in welding, in CNC setup and operation, machining, advanced composites manufacturing, which includes all kinds of specializations like resin transfer molding, 3D weaving. 3D printing is huge all over in terms of prototyping and design. And so our goal is to prepare people either for entry level or the next step up, really to kind of create not only an educational career path, but a professional career path that they can follow to advance.
Do you know how many students have taken advantage of these programs across the state?
Since 2011, when our grant was awarded, the number, I don't have a total number, but I can tell you that I just learned recently that the percentage of students has gone up 60% since 2010. We just got those numbers in. And that's
awesome.
Really good news. And that makes me really excited because, I mean, it's good news for us, obviously, but the real story here is that it's good news for our industry partners, and it's really good news for the job seekers and career builders here in the state, because we had a need on both ends. We had high-tech, high-pay employers who needed a workforce that could accomplish their goals, and then we have job seekers, people who are really in need of lucrative careers, stable careers. And we really just came in and we were able to close the loop. So to hear that enrollment is up is fabulous.
I think one of the most exciting parts of the program has been the establishment of all these new partnerships. You know, you've named Albany and Safran. For Manchester, Velcro, GE Aviation, Hitchner, Parker Hannafin, Freudenberg, and other places.
Corfin is another one. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And on the western part of the state, Hypertherm and Whelan Engineering. And it's just, I think as colleges, we've learned a tremendous amount as we've spoken with these various industries about what it is that they need. You know, they bring their expertise, the technical expertise, and I think we've learned more and more how to bring the educational expertise. How do you take what the tasks are that add up to the job and create a meaningful education program? In fact, we should probably talk for a few minutes about what some of those programs are. I mean, I'll kick us off by saying MCC starts its new robotics certificate this fall, and we have the Blue Man Group, as Tom Brennan, the superintendent of the Manchester schools, named them, and we also have, I think it's the FANUC robotics as well, so we actually can have students work on two different kinds of robotics. So I'm pretty excited about our certificate, but our sister colleges have other programs as well. Can you name a couple of those programs? Absolutely. Like I said, we have more than 30 of them total, but in addition to Manchester Community College's new certificate, on the Seacoast, we have a fairly new CNC boot camp. It's only 8 weeks, and it's already producing graduates, for lack of a better word, because there's no technical graduation, but it's producing students who are hired even before they're done. So that kind of speaks to the success of the skill building that's going on in those courses. Great Bay also just launched a welding certificate. Over at Nashua Community College, there's a machine tool technology associate degree. And again, that's your CNC tools, high tech. They have extremely precise manufacturing capabilities over there, which, speaking of another partner, Omni Components is a fantastic partner there, and they do very precise manufacturing.
And then over at NHTI, they have a fantastic robotics and automation engineering associate's degree. So obviously the focus there is on the engineering aspect.
So lots of different opportunities for students. Can start, for instance, with some form of a boot camp and can do certificates, can do degrees. And this is a great place for us to stop for a moment and take a little break, and we'll come back and talk more about the manufacturing and educational opportunities in New Hampshire. You're listening to Opportunity Knocks on WGIR. We'll be right back.
This is Opportunity Knocks, a weekly program exploring higher education and jobs right here in New Hampshire. Brought to you by Manchester Community College.
Welcome back. You're listening to Opportunity Knocks on WGIR. I'm Susan Heward, president of Manchester Community College, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jennifer Wells. Today we're talking about advanced manufacturing careers with Desiree Crosley, the Outreach and Marketing Coordinator for AMPT-NH, the acronym for Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships in Education, which is a statewide partnership that focuses on education and training for high-demand, high-salary jobs in advanced manufacturing. We were chatting a bit during the break about this notion of boot camps. You know, boot camps are short, rigorous experiences. And we actually discovered, let's talk for just a little bit longer about it's the Sig Sauer CNC boot camp.
So it's the Great Bay Community College CNC boot camp. It is hosted on the Sig Sauer campus over on the Seacoast. It's 8 weeks long. And basically students go in. They can go in at the beginner level, although there is testing to make sure that it's a good skills match. And basically they come out far ahead of the average new CNC operator or machinist hire.
Okay.
And we have another boot camp that's a bit of a different model. They're both intensive, but over at River Valley Community College in the West, they have teamed up with Sturm Ruger, and they offer a 2-week intensive boot camp. They offer it in 2 shifts, which actually kind of mirrors the way that the company itself works. And it's the same thing. They're turning out students who come in 4 to 6 weeks ahead of those who have not done the boot camp, even though the boot camp is only 2 weeks long. So they're saving the employer training time and therefore money. And they have basically found a way through this partnership to ensure a well-trained workforce for the next 3 years at least, which is how long the agreement goes.
So let's talk about the placement statistics. Do you have any sense of, if I go through one of these intensive experiences, because in the back of my head I'm hearing my mother saying, you can do anything for 8 weeks, Susan.
Absolutely.
So how about, is there a job waiting at the end of this, or what are my likely prospects?
We can never guarantee a job, but I can tell you that in some of our courses, especially those shorter boot camps and especially those where we've partnered with a specific company, we've had hire rates as high as 100%.
Wow.
And some of those students are hired before they're even done their training. And again, I think that speaks to the partnership, the fact that there was a clear need. It was clearly communicated to the colleges, and the colleges delivered on those skills needs. And then, of course, you've got the dedication of these students who know what they want. They have the dedication to go for it. They're putting in their time. And I have to tell you, it's great to actually go and visit one of those labs during one of those boot camps because the passion is there. The last time I was at one, it was lunchtime, and the students had to be asked to leave because they were so into this project that they didn't want to stop. So it's funny that you say your mom said you can do anything for 8 weeks, and I completely agree with that. But the cool thing is I think that they would do it for even longer, just to see how much fun they're having doing that.
Oh, that's great. Now, these programs do have a cost.
Yes.
Okay. And, sometimes, particularly if we're talking about people who are unemployed, it might be difficult to come up with the money. Any any opportunities to help?
Aside from your traditional forms of financial aid, which would be eligible for credit-bearing courses, for a lot of our non-credit-bearing certificate programs, we team up with fantastic agencies in the state like NHWorks, and using resources like the Workforce Investment Act. For those eligible, funding is there, and sometimes it's a very significant amount of funding that can make these training programs well within their reach. And it happens more than people might think. So I would encourage anyone for whom this might be a challenge, don't let that stop you. Get in touch with someone at the college, and because of that great partnership that we have with NHWorks offices all over the state, we can put you in touch with someone who may be able to help.
Oh, that's great to hear. There's another side to the help piece. I think the programs in advanced manufacturing are attracting a diverse group of students, from folks just fresh out of high school to middle-aged workers hoping to change careers or move up in the job that they have. Some of these students haven't been in school for years. And so, the financial piece is one piece that makes folks nervous, but the studying piece also can make people nervous. And so what kind of support services are available for students who go into these programs?
We have a whole, what we call the Student Online Suite. And that's actually outside of the classroom. Before I get there, I'd love to just mention, too, that a lot of our instructors in the labs are people who are not only teaching, but are either currently or very recently industry people. So they also know what it's like to be outside of a classroom for a long time. And another one of the synergies that I've seen, and I think it's fantastic, is the instructors, it's almost not an option to let a student fail. So again, for someone who might be afraid of the math or the science, because those are very important parts of advanced manufacturing, don't be. They can break it down in real life terms that make sense, because in reality, we're all doing math and science every day. And using that base, they then work to build the students up. I've also found that the students in these programs really rally together as a team. And we have great stories from graduates regarding that. People who were afraid to start, women who went into the industry fearing not only the math and the science, but the fact that they knew they were going into a male-dominated environment. And were a little bit intimidated, and found out very quickly there was no reason to be. So that's in the classroom. Online, we have what we call the Student Online Suite, which we lovingly call SOS, help. And it includes a lot of tools. Basically, it has e-tutoring capabilities, live online tutoring capabilities. It offers students the option to do online portfolios, so basically a chance to show off your work to employers without even having met them first sometimes. We have AmpNH Connect, which is a fantastic service. It's essentially social networking, but for this very targeted audience. So it connects manufacturers with students online, and they can talk about the business. They can ask questions. For students, it's a really good chance to get a first-person view of the industry that they're hoping to get into. For employers, it's almost like, hey, here's your future workforce, take your pick. It's a chance to introduce both sides to the other. And right now we have more than 50 employers signed up there. We're always welcoming more. I think that the combination of all of those tools really makes the transition easy for someone, even if they've been out of the classroom for a long time.
That's great to hear. I talk to students when they come in during open houses and so on, and so many times people think about what they were like when they were in high school, and I say some of the good news about getting older is that our ability to understand actually increases as we get older, and so they shouldn't remember that grade they got in the algebra class 15 years ago, because that's not who they are.
Absolutely.
And so wonderful. I'm glad that there's help. Let's talk a little bit more about our industry partners. You were saying that so many students actually get a job before they finish the program, before they graduate. And they're doing these programs that were developed with our industry partners. We may have a company that's listening, and they may be saying, gee, we didn't get in on this yet.
It's not too late.
Okay. And what would happen if a company came forward and said, gee, we want to participate? What could they expect would happen as they started their introductions to one or several of the community colleges?
Well, they could start by either contacting me through our website, www.ampednh.com. They can fill out the inquiry at the bottom, and I will put them in touch with either a project coordinator at one of our 7 colleges, or if they want to talk with someone else, I can set them up with that person. And then we start with the question we've been asking all along, which is, what do you need? How can we help you? If it's a workforce need, how can we solve that? If it's wanting to just connect with students on a mentorship level, we can do that too. If you want a tour, absolutely not a problem. Come on in and we'll schedule a tour for you. So basically, we're here to serve New Hampshire, New Hampshire businesses and New Hampshire job seekers and career builders. So I would say it just starts with getting in touch.
We talked a little bit about the unemployed and how they can take advantage of some of these programs. Now, if funding is available and because they can't afford to pay for the training, how can they find out more information? Who can they talk to?
Again, I can be a good first point of contact, just so we're not throwing out 7 different phone numbers. www.ampednh.com. If you fill out that inquiry, I am happy to help. And the short answer is there's a ton of people they can talk to. We have offices all over the state that deal with workforce development and job placement. And there is going to be someone in every region that can help.
So lots of opportunities. And we're just going to be starting. Many of our programs will have a starting date in September, but I suspect if you miss the September date, there's probably another opportunity just around the corner where we've got these 2-week programs and 8-week programs.
Absolutely. And the other one that I'd love to mention for the very base skills is Work Ready New Hampshire. So that is free for the students, tuition free, and that builds what we call hard and soft skills. So the technical skills, math, reading comprehension, and then as well as things like teamwork, problem solving. And that is also a shorter program that people can take. It's also a really good foot in the door if you haven't been in either the professional or the academic environment for a while.
Well, Desiree, this is a great place to begin and to end. Thank you so much for coming in this morning and giving us this great update. And now it's time for the MCC News Minute. And in fact, Desiree got us started on that because there's a new segment of Work Ready New Hampshire that's going to begin at MCC. It actually starts on September 9th and runs through October 2nd. As Desiree indicated, it's free. It is open to New Hampshire residents who are 18 and over who are not full-time students. And you can learn more about the Work Ready New Hampshire open house this Wednesday, August 27th, from 1 to 4 p.m. At MCC. It's a great opportunity to talk with the Work Ready staff, get all your questions answered, and even register for the program. So please stop by. And remember, you can find out anything you want to know about MCC at our website, mccnh.edu, or give us a call at 206-8000. And just another plug for Desiree, take a look at amped, AMPEDNH .com to find out more about the advanced manufacturing opportunities in our wonderful state of New Hampshire. Jennifer and I want to thank you for joining us for this week's Opportunity Knocks, and we hope you'll be with us again next week.